Thank you for tuning in to Macroview Television and welcome to a brand new edition of Taiwan Outlook, the program that presents the different faces and lets you hear the different voices on Taiwan. I'm your host, Rui Guo. Have you been to the new Main Public Library in Kaohsiung? What is so special about it? We're going to find out on today's program. We're delighted to have a special guest, and he is Mr. Pan Cheng-Yi, who's currently the acting director of the new Main Public Library in Kaohsiung. Welcome to our program.
Hi, Professor Wu, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, it's a delight to have you on the program. And Mr. Pan, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself at the beginning part of the program? What did you do before becoming the acting director of the Kaohsiung Main Public Library?
I work in the Kaohsiung Library for almost 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was chief of a military service office in Kaohsiung City Government.
Okay.
Then I changed my job to the Culture Affairs Bureau. General Secretary, sorry.
Okay, all right, no problem.
General Secretary. And I transferred my job to become an acting director in this year, January.
January of 2015.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Pan, a lot of people like myself will ask, why did the Kaohsiung city government wanted to build a new main public library in Shinchon district? Why was the location decided in Shinchon and not other districts in Kaohsiung?
Yep, that's a very good question.
Yes.
As you know, that Kaohsiung City was identified as an industrial city.
Yes.
Full of pollutions, plants, and pipes, and especially that the pipe illusion of the explosion happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we were thinking that we should change this city into a better city, or even a green city. So we start to thinking about the location we choose.
Okay.
So we choose the Shinchon district.
First. Okay.
Yes, Shinchon district area, because this area is full of plants and also full of pipes.
Okay.
And is a labor gathered area.
Okay. All right.
So we should know that the knowledge is the power. So if we want to change the city, we should start to study, to gain the knowledge.
Okay.
So the main tool to gain the knowledge is to build a new library.
Okay, good.
Another main consideration is that our former main library has no connection.
Really?
No collections, yes, because of the structural limitations.
All right.
So we just want to build a brand new, have a huge collections in this library.
All right.
So we choose Shinchon area as our location.
Yes, and let me ask you this. A lot of people say that the new main public library in Kaohsiung has 6 very unique characteristics.
Yes.
Can you tell us what those 6 unique characteristics are?
Thank you. I introduce in briefly. The 6 first are as follow. The first suspended green building library in the world.
In the world, okay.
Yes. And the largest suspended scenic courtyard in Taiwan.
All right.
And it is also the most see-through building.
All right.
Yeah. And the fourth is the first covered but column-free plaza with a height of 7.5 meters.
All right.
And the fifth is the first building in which modular systems are fully and comprehensively embedded into its design.
Okay.
And the sixth is the most functionally flexible building.
Functionally flexible. What does that mean? I mean, you can have many events?
Because that it provides a space that is very flexible.
Okay.
You can move or you can have some activities inside just because the space didn't have much limitations. So it is very flexible.
Oh, good.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people will be interested in finding out more that when you've mentioned the first characteristic is the first, the new main public library is the first, green suspension, structure in the world. And tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, we also understand that you mentioned that Kaohsiung started off as an industrial city. There's a lot of heavy industry, manufacturing in the city.
Exactly.
And is that one of the reasons why the city government wanted to build a green structure, a suspension structure? Is that the reason?
Yeah. As you know that we want to have a brand new main library.
Okay.
And we just thinking about we should put an image that in the library.
Okay.
So we usually read and pray under big trees in the former time. So we just put this image into this design. 8 big Asian bayberry trees in the atrium of the library.
Okay.
And it provides some persons who can borrow a book.
Okay.
Yeah, then sit under the trees, or they just can just take a rest under the trees and just think nothing. And we just want to provide a very comfortable environment and just encourage people to come to the library and enjoy their time in it.
Okay. But, you know, Mr. Pan, the library itself was not cheap. You know, it cost almost NT dollar 1.9 billion to complete.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Where did the money come from?
Yes. It is very difficult to collect $1.9 billion to build a library.
Yeah.
And we were thinking that this location, it is very valuable. Okay. It is roughly about $100 million for this location.
Okay.
And we think that we should use in different usage.
Okay.
So, and by the way, we asked for the support from the central government.
Yeah.
We're thinking about it one time, but we're thinking that it is not the right way, because we want to build our own library.
Okay.
So we should use our
own resources.
Yeah, our resources. So we decided to use this budget. All comes from our government, local government, Kaohsiung city government.
Okay.
Yeah, without any support from the central government.
Yes, but $1.9 billion could take up a sizable chunk of the annual budget for the city government. I mean, how does the city government manage that? Because will there necessarily be some cuts in other areas?
Of course.
Okay. Can you tell us?
Yeah, because that we have the limitation of the total budget of the government.
All right.
And you have to let this budget be admitted by the city council.
Yes.
So we have to persuade them, try to let them understand why we need this main library.
Yes.
The Kaohsiung city needs this library. The Kaohsiung residents need this library.
Okay.
So fortunately that the city councilors, they can listen and they support our project.
All right.
Yeah, they pass the budget.
All right.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, I mean, this is a long process. How long did it take the structure to be completed?
Okay. The structure just take 25 months.
25 months, so
yes.
A little over 2 years.
Yeah, it's
right.
more than 2 years and 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the whole, budget did not go over. I mean, it was held under 1.9 billion.
Yeah, we just take under step by step and according to the budget.
Okay.
So it is very smoothly, and we have good communication with the architect.
All right.
And
it was open to the public back in November of 2014. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And since it's open, what has been the general reaction from residents, from the visitors, to the new, to the new main library building?
Actually, it had become a new site.
Okay.
Of Kaohsiung.
For visitors?
Yeah, for visitors, because that it looks not like a library, according to the appearances, because it is too brilliant or too beautiful.
Modern.
Yes, too modern. Yeah, and the visitor, it catch the visitors' eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, visitors come here to see what's going on, what happened inside.
Okay.
Yeah, so many visitors come to see around and to see the environment, to see the facilities, to see the devices, and to see the display of this building. And yeah, we welcome that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of attention paid to the details of the design for the library. For example, you said that the entrance of the library, you have the shaded tree area that people can just sit under it and then reminiscent of the time when they were little kids and maybe reading a book, maybe doing nothing.
Yes.
So were there other, detailed designs that you can share with us in addition to this?
Museum exhibition, books exhibition.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And this book exhibition that we just thinking about, the library is not only the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have another function inside.
Okay.
So we were thinking about, we were reading the history book.
Okay.
But why we don't read the book of history?
Okay.
Yeah, so we did a lot of survey and mobilized a lot of co-workers to investigate the books in history, especially the key publications.
Okay.
And we have more than 5 windows, exhibition windows, to exhibit these very important publications.
All right. Mr. Pan, we were talking about the different public displays that you have in the new main public library in Kaohsiung. But I'm going to ask you to hold that thought because we're going to go back on another question that people wanted to know because during the 25 months construction of the structure period, that there were actually 9 transition stages. Would you mind sharing with us what those 9 transition stages are? Please.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce briefly about 9 creative ideas in building this library. We call 9 flips.
Okay.
Yeah, in this library. It is the first we flip the way of recruiting the designers because that we let the native architect to be the leader instead of the foreigners. And it is the effect is we have more convenient and without difficulties in communication.
Okay.
And it will make the constructions in very smooth way. It takes 25 months to complete this building. Yes. The second flip is we construction using the suspension technique into this library. I just mentioned before that this is the first suspended building, green building library in the world. And the third is we flip the public construction budget. Yeah, I just said that we have $1.9 billion comes from the Kaohsiung city government, and another 0.5 billion.
Okay.
0.5 billion from the residents and entrepreneurs to connect the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The fourth flip is we purchasing the connections. Yeah, we just because the procurement regulation limitation that the government usually has the limitation to purchase the lowest tender's price instead of the property price, and that caused that the publication company that they suffer from this. Yeah, so we just flip this way. And we just purchase in 30% instead of the lowest tender's price. And the fifth is we purchase the e-books. The way we purchase the e-books, because we just not bought it. We just pay continuously, just pay the tuition. Yep. And the sixth is the key publication I mentioned before. The seventh is the biggest connection of picture books. We have 120,000 connections. Okay. The eighth is we have a Kaohsiung collections area. Okay. Especially that we just connect the books related to Kaohsiung, the people, people, the sites, the tourism, etc.
All right.
Yeah, they'll connect together. And the ninth is we continue the BOT in the second term of construction plan.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So among the 9 transition stages, overall, as the acting director, are you happy with the progress that you have seen at the different, transition stages?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we were.
Were there moments of difficulties that you said, oh, maybe we're not able to achieve?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, it is not an easy time in construction.
No.
Yeah, as you know, this location is full of pollutions. And we were facing the land polluted problem when we just dig out the mud.
Okay.
And we just tried to conquer these problems.
Okay.
And we just changed into a brand new, fresh earth in replace. And we just keep going on.
All right.
Yep.
And Mr. Pan, you also mentioned earlier that the Bureau of Cultural Affairs really had a bigger role to play in the planning and the construction of the new main public library. Can you tell us what exactly was the role of the Bureau of Cultural Affairs?
Thank you. I can say that this is the main success reason that we have is that the Cultural Affairs Bureau play a very important role in this construction project. Because that according to the traditional way, that from the very beginning, the design, constructing, and all be hosted by the Constructional Bureau department. And that means that the running sector didn't have much chance to be involved. Because this building that you have to take over by the running sector. And the running sector should put the ideas before constructing. So that's why we change the process. So we contract out the designer. We contract out the design of this building. And we also contract out the PCM. We call it that professional construction management. We call PCM. And the cause, the effect is we have more role to play. Involve this building designing, and we can have more communication with the designer. That means that the space we know how to run before.
Okay. And given the fact that this is brand new public main library, can you tell us a little bit about the different collections that you have, a collection of books at different floors? How many floors are there in the new building?
Actually, we have 8 floors.
8 floors?
Yeah, 8 floors and 1 basement.
Okay.
And I introduce briefly. Yes, because, because we have the picture books. A lot of picture books in basement.
Good.
And that had become a paradise of children.
Yes.
Children
I can imagine.
And the parents and play and just search the pictures books, and the parents read the story to the kids. And we just enjoy the scenery like that. It is very beautiful. And the 3rd floor we have periodicals. We have more than 1,000 different kind of periodicals.
Okay.
And the floor, the connection I should mention about is 2 connections I need to mention here. Is that the 5th floor, we have South Asian connections. Comes from Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand. Philippines. We have those different countries' connection and all put together at that area, 5th floor.
5th floor.
And we provide a chance to those immigrants from Southern Asia, and they can come visit the libraries and enjoy their reading over there. And the other collection this is the Kaohsiung collections. I said before on the 4th floor. We just try to collect possibly that comes from different kind of persons, locations, sceneries, industry, tourism, any you can imagine. We put these connections together in the 4th area, this floor, yes.
All right. And how about 6, 7, and 8, the different floors?
The 7 and 6 and 7 is that's related about the in history. This foreign history, native history, or literature, science, social science, etc., philosophy.
All right.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, do you have ongoing collaboration with schools in Kaohsiung City, maybe for their students to come and visit the library, maybe with some of the elementary schools or junior high schools, in Kaohsiung? Has that been in place?
Yeah. It happened routinely.
Routinely.
Yeah,
okay.
we collaborate with the schools, especially
Okay.
primary school, and we just communicate with the teachers,
Okay.
and they can bring the children, the primary school, the students, and come here, and we can have great introduction about this building
Okay.
and the connections we had, and they usually just very happy, and
Yes.
they enjoy their paradise in the basement.
Yeah, play. And Mr. Pan, I think a lot of people will say that you have a very difficult job, not only because this is a brand new, main public library in Kaohsiung, but also in the traditional misconception that many people may have about Kaohsiung is that it's considered not very culturally active. It's not a place, people used to talk about Gaussian, talk about the port, talk about the heavy industry in the area, but not many people talk about the cultural creativity and the energy that the people have in the local community. And how do you then, since you are the acting director, how do you then try to break the stereotype, the misconception that people have about the people in Kaohsiung?
Well, it is really a challenge for me.
Yes.
Because people just thinking about the Kaohsiung is not a cultural area.
Yes.
But we had tried very hard for years.
Okay.
We tried to bring culture, this element into this city. For the building of this main library is one of the very key role.
Okay.
Yes, and we try to bring the knowledge, the reading for the residents, to provide a very convenient facilities for people living here.
Good.
And we just try to flip it, to change the city image. And you have to try very hard because a lot of missions need to be completed.
Yes. Mr. Pan, we were talking earlier about this brand new main public library in Kaohsiung has become somewhat of a tourist attraction. A lot of visitors to Kaohsiung and also residents of Kaohsiung, maybe in a different district, will want to come and visit the new main library. Let me ask you this. Since it's open to the public in November 2014, in the last 6 or 7, 8 months, what's the average daily number of visitors to the new main public library?
Okay. It is in average about 5,000 visitors in a weekday.
A weekday,
yes.
Okay.
And it will reach to 10,000 to 12,000 visitors on holidays.
Oh, holiday and weekend, okay.
And it also had over 1 million visitors until now.
Okay, already.
Okay. Yes, already. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. This. I think this is a phenomena for a new site.
Yes.
Yeah, people is very curious, and we hope that people can visit here and really can take a book to read or borrow books back home.
Okay. And so far, among the 1 million plus visitors to the new main public library, what has been their reaction? Has there been some feedback? Maybe on some of the facilities or some of the services you provide?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the visitors did that. They have their feedback and they suggest us to just modify or adjust some facilities, and that will make this library better. And we just take this in very serious consideration. We have to check if it is correct or it is okay for us to adjust these facilities. And the key point is the budget.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I think this is very positive
Yes.
A very positive effect that visitors, they not only give us the pores, but also give us some advices that us to get better.
Yeah, they already like the building, the structure, and they want to make sure it gets better in the future.
Yes.
And let me ask you to go back to the earlier question that we discussed about the public display of books. And my apologies for interrupting you earlier. Please continue with that concept. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We just thinking about this library should have a space that have artwork inside to get different atmosphere inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So especially this artwork should related about books.
Yes.
Yeah. So we find a book sculptured artist.
Okay.
Yeah. Whose name is Chen Longbin.
Okay.
Yeah, he had several pieces of works and were exhibited in New York Museum. And it has very famous overseas. And we just let these artists to build one piece of work. It's called the cultural sentiment.
Okay, cultural sentiment.
Yeah, sentiment. It has that semicircular walls.
Okay.
And have two masters. One is the Easterner, his name is Master Bodhidharma. It is a Zen master.
Yes.
Yeah. And it represents the East, meditates to the wall. The other one is Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Yeah, who gazed into the space, gazed into the world. And he just facing his back is just read that on the walls.
Okay.
And this, we just try to express that how both Easterner and Westerner countries, the cultures they're reading, is a process of cultural deposition.
Okay.
Yep. And civilization is the accumulation of layer after layer of culture over thousands of years. So we call the culture sentiment.
Yes, all right. Another special feature at the new Main Public Library is the small, museum collection of books. This is on the, history, the people, the culture. Please tell us a little more about that.
As I mentioned before, that we were thinking that the library should have different kind of function.
Yes.
So we just thinking about we should have a book museum inside. And we had to do a lot of jobs on it.
Okay.
And we have invested and connect a lot of very important publication in history, such as the one magazine is called Free China.
Yes.
Whose author is Mr. Lei Zhen.
Yes.
And we find out the first publication of Free China in 1950, the original one.
Yeah.
And another very important magazine we said is Formosa. Formosa magazine, who was the location is in Kaohsiung, and it is play a very important role about our democratic process, transition, and it was we had the first publication, and which was published in 1979, and we connect those very important connections, and we also wrote a brief introduction on the window. You can see briefly, and if you want to see more, we have provided the QR code. You can just catch the QR code, and you can visit our website and to see more in detail about the introduction of the key publication.
Okay. Another service that you provide for visitors to the library is the UV sanitizer for books. It's a way of protecting the books themselves, also protect the the people who borrow or read them. And can you tell us, this is something, of course, not unique to Kaohsiung, but the visitors have given very positive response, to such a service. Can you tell us a little more?
Okay. Actually, just like a host said, that this is not the unique or not the first devices provided in this main library. But we were thinking that we should provide not only a happy environment for reading, but we should also provide a healthy environment. So we just purchased several sanitizer devices and put in several different floors. And we just let the people who can borrow out the books and they just put the books into these sanitizers to keep the books provided from the bacteria and just keep it in clean.
Yes.
Yeah, we should do that.
All right. And it's been more than 6 months since the library opened, and you have many plans for the future, I'm sure. What would be some of the things that we can expect? Maybe in the near future, for example, in the next few months, during the summertime, when children are out of school, that we can expect from the main library in Kaohsiung.
Okay. Actually, that we plan to just cultivate the reading environment.
Good.
And we should do this from the age very young. Young age people. So we just collaborate with the school, especially, I just said primary school or just junior high school, and to let them have more chance to access these equipment or the readings he had. So that's we will continue, or we will do more, have the collaboration with the schools. We hope that people, especially the children, can enjoy their reading in this library.
Okay. And Mr. Pan, do you have any ongoing cooperation with other public libraries around Taiwan? For example, with Taipei, Taichung, or other places. What are some of the programs that you have with these different public libraries?
Okay. Actually, we have one program. It's called SRRC. Southern Resource Center. Things like that. And this program comes from the Educational Ministry. And we set this SRRC in our main library. And this area that provide a function that we can just cooperate with different counties, like Jiayi, the southern, from the Jiayi and to the south, to Pingdong, and even Penghu. So we just connect those counties together, and we provide those books for them to borrow. If they want to borrow the books from here, we can provide them.
And what are some of the plans that you may have or plan to do so in the future with other foreign, international library organizations? Maybe, for example, in Japan, Korea, or parts of Southeast Asia, please.
We had a forum, international forum.
Good.
And it was held in November 13, 2014, when this library new opened. And it lasted for 3 days. And we invited 8 different countries, library managers to get together and to just have their reports and to share the experiences between each other. And this is our goal. We hope that in the future we can have more chance to collaborate with the international libraries, which we can play some role of this community.
Mr. Pan, we're talking about the different designs and features that the new main public library in Kaohsiung has, and we also want to ask you another feature, which is, for any library around the world, what is important is not only just the physical design of the library, but also its collection. A very unique, feature at the Kaohsiung new main library is the fact that, there are many people, the local residents, have donated, books, and some of them have donated money, to the new main public library. For example, you have some, Japanese resident originally from, Kaohsiung donating books in Japanese, and you also have Southeast Asian new immigrants to Taiwan donating books in their original language. Can you tell us some of these stories, please?
Actually, those stories are very touching and remarkable. And it's touching my heart, seriously.
Yeah.
I'll give you several examples.
Please.
Just like the host mentioned, the one Japanese boy who was suffered from 311 tsunami disaster and just lived in Kaohsiung temporary for school exchange.
Okay.
And he just learned about this news and told his mom. So and he said, I want to donate several books for this library to show his thankfulness to the help of Taiwan to the tsunami disaster. That's very good for this news. And the other one is several new residents from Southern Asian, these immigrants, that they want to donate their country's books, and to that the residents of Kaohsiung can know more about their cultures. That's also a very good thing.
Very nice.
And the several touching stories. One entrepreneurs, who had donated $123 million for us to purchase the book.
Yeah, that is a sizable donation.
And the thing is that he just kept this donation in very low key.
Yeah.
He don't want to release this news to his son, even his son.
Okay.
And that's in touch me that the man is rich, but his mind is very graceful, and just wonderful. And another story is one scooter owner, and he is not rich at all.
No.
But he wants to donate this library for $1 million. And he just discussed with us that can he share in several times, not in one time, because he cannot afford that.
Okay.
So we just, you can just provide us several times, as you can. So he provides 7 times for $1 million.
That is very nice. Yes.
It happened. This really happened around the cities. Yes, it's very touching.
Yes, and we also understand that you have another, provision that for people who donate books, they have the naming right. Can you tell us a little bit about that concept?
This is a very creative idea we provided. Actually, it comes from our Culture Affairs Bureau, the director, the director. And he just created a function that you can put the words. You just spend $300. If you donated $300, you can purchase a book, and you just put some words behind the book.
Good.
And it had become a movement that just spread the love. For example, the father just buy the book and just say some words to his daughter, put on the book, and that her daughter just read. This book comes from the donation of my father. And I can give you several examples. There's one donor. He just donated 14 medical related books. And he said that that year I spent in the ICU. I thought he was a doctor, maybe. And he just left the message of the books, and he said that he wanted that the readers have more understanding about what the hospital is running, because it is not an easy job. So he wants to harmonize the relationship between the doctors and the patients, because it is always have conflict between each other.
Of course.
Yes. So he donated those books and left this message to the readers. And one is the illiterate old man.
All right.
He have the chance to receive the education, and then he suffered from that seriously, and he has very deep regret that he have no chance to receive the education. And he donated the book, and he left the messages. I hope you can enjoy the reading, because I suffer from the illiteracy. I hope that you can don't want to die just like me, and enjoy your happiness for reading.
With the books.
Yes, with the books.
All right.
We just have created a very touching stories and spreading the loves around the communities.
Yes.
And this is very good reactions from the
Yes,
people. Yeah.
Of course. And we understand that the collection of books since 2012 has exceeded 1 million books altogether.
Yes.
And this is something, of course, you and your staff are very proud, and so is the city government, Kaohsiung. What do you want, based on this experience, try to use what you have seen, what you have heard, since the concept of the library first came to realization, that what do you want to draw from this experience, maybe share with other people who are concerned about the future development of the library? Please.
Mm-hmm. We had a very successful on the first stage to build a very brand new, beautiful library and have a very good connections for 1 million books comes from different kind of citizens around the city. And we also have 58 branches.
58 branches?
Yeah, around the city. Especially in the remote
areas.
Yeah, area. And those books, we have 5.2 million collections in this city, in the library. So we just have 1 million brand new books. But that means we have 4.2 million books. It's not a good shape, and it's old and outdated. And we try to undertake the second stage as we have a successful first stage. And we hope that people can continue their enthusiasm and to continue to take this mission ongoing. We hope that the people can donate it continuously. When we change the branch library, we have a brand new connections. We can serve the remote areas children, especially the children didn't have equal chance to access the facilities in the urban area. So we hope that we can have more possibility to push or to urge the people to join us. We hope that the connection can be renewed or can have a new connections inside.
And one thing that Mr. Pan, a lot of people will say that we are now in the digital age. A lot of people now start reading e-books and things. What would be some of the services that you already provide at the new Main Public Library, and what will be some of them that you plan to offer in the future?
Actually, we have a plan that is undertaken right now. And this is e-books that I mentioned before that this is one of the flipped we did. We just flipped the e-books, the borrowing the way. Usually we purchase the e-books, we just bought it in one time. We just bought it. And it cost maybe $100,000 or maybe. But we just change another way. We just let the persons who can, if you have the library card, and you can just borrow 60 books in a year. And we pay for that. The library will pay the expense of these borrowers. And we just keep the collaboration with the publisher. We not borrow it in one time. Keep going. That's if the residents borrow this, and we just hope that the amount can be raised more and more. And finally, before we end the program today, Mr. Pan, you said at the beginning of the program that you have been working in the library system in Kaohsiung for over 30 years. And let me ask you this, and looking back the past 30 years, as a librarian, dedicated librarian, what do you think are some of the major changes that you have seen in the environment in Kaohsiung in terms of people's habit for reading, people's inclination to come to a library,
to borrow books and return books? And what will be some of the major changes that you have seen? And also, a lot more people are very enthusiastic now about reading, about donations made to the public library system. Please.
Yeah. According to my observation that about the past 30 years I've served in Kaohsiung City government, I can say that Kaohsiung City had a big change from the past time.
Okay.
Yeah, just not only about the environment, but also the cultural or even the mindset of the people. And that's why we want to see, or that's why we work for. And we just do very hard to try to just put those situation in different way. We hope that Kaohsiung can be changed, especially the people in Kaohsiung. So it is also a challenge for us, not only me, for us, that we still try very hard, try to bring something different, or
something
even
new.
Something new, or something that especially in the big data area is coming. Just so information is explosion is seriously. So it is not easy for us to just figure it out. So we still try very hard to try to bring people the brand new ideas, policies together.
Good. And Mr. Pan, it's truly been a pleasure to have you on the program today. I want to wish you all the best in your future personal and professional endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our program today. I'll see you next time on MacroView Television. Thank you.